Today we're going to be replacing the roof springs on the 2017 Flagstaff. Actually, we're going to be replacing the front springs. I already had a chance to replace the rear springs yesterday, but weather was moving in and it was getting dark, so I had to postpone it till today. As you can see, it's been raining here a bit, and hopefully I can do this before it goes in. These are the replacement springs. The front springs are slightly different than the rear springs. This angle right here on the front spring is about an inch or so larger, a little bit higher of a lift in there than in the rear springs. I could tell the springs needed to be replaced because I could hardly lift up the roof by myself. This is a section of the broken rear spring that I had removed from the passenger side of the rear lifting springs. As you can see, I've already disconnected the bungee cords on the roof. The cords are actually in pretty good shape. They're not frayed or anything, but as long as I'm doing this, I'm going to go ahead and replace them with new cords. Some people like to screw down the mount. I'm going to go ahead and pop rivet it again. If your roof is doing well and you don't have any broken springs or everything's in alignment, you don't have to change these too often, and it's not that hard to drill out a rivet. Now I'm ready to remove the springs, but in order to do that I have to take this wall slash roof panel and get it from an angle up to a vertical position. So what I need to do is secure this, because if you lift it up too far you'll put stress on that bottom hinge there, which you don't want to do. You don't want to angle it out too far away this way, so you want to bring it up to like a vertical position, very close to vertical, so you can remove the springs. So I've read about different ways of doing it, or getting a couple of good sized friends to hold it in place while you're doing this. I'm doing this by myself, so I needed to come up with a solution. So here's my solution. All I do is attach a rope to this gate post here. I've given it some slack. I measured that has to have about a 42 inches of travel to get that up to vertical. So this should give me enough. All I got to do is open this up until it comes tight with the rope. Like that. It'll hold it in vertical position. And how about that? It worked just as promised. Nice and vertical. I've got a prop board on the inside with a piece of foam pad on it. And I've got that clamped down so it doesn't shift. And it's holding it nice and vertical. And now I'll be able to go on and do the other steps I have to do. And drill out these rivets. There are 3/16. So these are the aluminum channels that are holding the springs in place. On the front they've got caps on it. There were no caps on the rear. I don't know if they originally had them or not. But if I turn this around, you can see, I'm going to pop that rivet out. You can see I've got more section up here than on the bottom. So when you install them on the new spring, make sure you do the same way with the larger spot on the top to give it area to slide up and down. There's a couple of retention holders on this one. Sometimes I've seen more than one, but there's one on each side of this. These have got to come out. There's no tension left on these, so these should just come out pretty easily. So look what I found on this side here. Yeah, another broken spring. It's broken the exact same spot. Now to pull out these springs, this broken one's going to be real easy. You can see how it goes into the wall here. It just kind of fits down in there, so we'll just throw that overboard. Now the one on this side is going to be a little bit more difficult because there's still a little bit of tension on there. So I just take a pry bar and kind of just work it out a little bit like this. And free up the other end. As soon as you get that clip off, it's really not that hard, and it just kind of slides out. So I got that one out, and this one again seems to be in pretty good condition compared to the two broken ones. So let's get the new ones and install them. To reinstall the new one is just doing the exact opposite. You just make sure you've got the right spring for the right side. This one for this side. And it just goes down like this. You can see a little angle will come up towards you to follow the roof. Goes on this side. And slide it on over. And a little bit of tension on this one. And it just slides right in. Put the other one in. After I get these in place, I'll make sure I put those aluminum square channels on them, and we'll get those and knock that rivet out of here, and we'll get those pop riveted into place, put the brackets on, and we'll be all set to go. I wanted to show a little detail right here. This is the top of the wall here. You see the sidewall comes up a little high. It kind of makes a saddle here that this fits down into. So you get that into position, and then you go ahead and you attach your brackets, and everything's locked into place. Now all I have to do is position and pop rivet those back into place, and this side will be done. You see I put a clamp on the bottom here. It's holding the bar over the side just to keep things a little close. There's not a lot of tension on here, but there's a little bit of side tension, so this will just help keep it close until I can get these in. That's one. This is the bottom hole, and you can see it got elongated, so it doesn't want to take a rivet. So a simple way to do this, here's the top hole. I just drilled straight through to the other side, and I'll mount it this way and then drill a hole down here to match up and pop rivet it in place, and no harm, no foul. Okay, and everything's in nice and secure. This is in the saddle here. I was lucky on these. The screws fit perfectly. They weren't stripped out, so I was able to just reuse those. Again, if I had to, I would have moved the bracket or used a different size screws, or both. This one too. Now over here you've got some wires you got to just be careful of when you put it in here. This is an on-off safety switch, I guess you call it, for the fantastic vent fan here. So when it closes, it doesn't allow the fan to turn. It shuts off power. And you can see this is the one I flipped around, so it's nice and secure there too. You just get them nice and flat when you pop rivet them in. This is all done. All I got to do is clean everything up and drop the wall back down, and we should be fine. And again, it should be nice and easy to lift. So I hope this was a help. Any questions, please let me know.